Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of our online learning. In this class, we will be looking at solution to additional mathematics, Igcse past question 2018, and this is paper 22. Briefly, let's see additional materials needed, electronic calculator, and make sure you do not write on any barcodes. Answer all the questions. Total mark 80 marks, and let's get started. Now, the first question here, as you can see, is solve the inequality. Now, please always note this. Please do not rewrite the question. Go ahead and start solving because you do not have time. So now let's see, as this is it, what I'm going to be doing here is to be expanding this expression. So I'm going to have x squared minus 3x minus 12 plus 4x. And that will be greater than x plus 13. So the next thing here is I have x squared minus 4x plus 4x should give me x. X we cancel x. If I take minus 12 to the other side, I'm going to have greater than 13 plus 12. And briefly, you have x squared greater than 25. So you just have to square root both sides. And when you square root both sides, you will have the square root of 25. And the square root of 25 is x greater than plus or minus 5. And going by the laws and some conditions that need to be satisfied in inequality, we love to write x greater than plus or minus 5 as x greater than 5 or and, as the case may be, x less than minus 5. So we leave that and we go to the next question. In our next question, we have a Venn diagram. The total number of students here is 105. So that means the universal set is 105 here. And X boys play football and cricket. The region here is the region of those that played football and cricket. Why this region is the region of those who play football only? This is the region for cricket only. While outside these two circles, you have the region of students who neither play football nor cricket. So here you have X boys play football and cricket. So you have X here. And the second thing here is 40 boys play cricket. So that means the number of boys playing cricket here is 40. And those who play cricket only will be 40 minus X. And if that is the case, the next thing now is football. So let's see the information concerning football. The number of students that only played football is twice the number of boys that only play cricket. Now those that play only cricket is 40 minus X. Here we're told that for football only is twice this number. So you have 40 minus X. And let's see, there is a question here. The number of boys that play neither, we've mentioned that will be outside this circle, is the same as the number of boys that play both games. So those who didn't play football nor cricket is X, because we were told that it's equal to X. So if that is the case, the next thing we need to do here is the total sum here, which is complete the Venn diagram and find the value of X. Now, talking about finding the value of X, our universal set is 105. So let's see. So here I'm going to have 105, which is the universal set. It will be equal to the sum of all the numbers in the rectangle. So we have, first thing first, we have 20, 40 minus X plus X plus 40 minus X plus X. So if that is the case, we will get 105 will be equal to, this is 80 minus 2x plus x plus 40 minus x plus x. We take care of each other. That will give me 0. And if you do that very well, this should give me minus x here. And add 80 plus 40, you get what? 120. So if you take 120 to the other side, you have minus 120. So here we have 150 minus 120 will be equal to what? Minus 2x plus x should give you minus x. So what's 105 minus 120? That should give you minus 15. So I have minus 15 here, which will be equal to minus x. So here we can just say we divide, or dividing both sides by minus 1. And what that means is we will have minus 15 over minus 1, which will be minus 1 over minus 1. So therefore you have x to be equal to 15. So the value of x is 15. So if we are completing the Venn diagram here, you should have, let's see, 15 here will be what? 40 minus 15, what will that be? That will give you 25. Multiply 25 by 2, that should give you 50. So here you have 40 minus 15 should give you 25. So the answer here is 25. Here your x is what? 15. And of course here x is also 15. And if you add all this together, you should get 105. Let's give that a try. 50 plus 15 is 65. 65 plus 25 is 90. 90 plus 15 is 105. And that settles the first two questions. Now question 3. A curve has equation y equal to x cubed over 2x. Find dy dx. Now if you check this very well, you see 3 marks in this bracket. That tells you that if you solve this question correctly, you get 3 marks. So let's see how this works. First thing first, I can just say let u equal to x cubed. Of course, whenever you are given ratio in calculus and you are asked to find the derivative, you make use of the quotient rule. And here I have u equals to x cubed, and v will be equal to sine 2x, which is the denominator. So if that is the case, what will be my du dx? My du dx here will be 3x squared. And what will be my dv dx? My dv dx here will be 2 cos 2x. Do not forget your calculus. So if that is the case, we have using quotient rule, and if you do that very well, you must have, this is the equation for quotient rule, dy dx equal to v du dx minus u dv dx, all divided by v squared. So this simply means my dy dx will be equals to, what is your v? Your v is sine 2x. So you have sine 2x here. What is your du dx? Du dx is what? 3x squared. And minus u, what's u? U is x cubed. And what's the v dx? The v dx is 2 cos 2x. And everything now will be divided by v squared. V squared is sine 2x raised to power 2. So if that is the case, I think we are through with this question, or we're done with this question. You have dy dx will be equal to 3x squared sine 2x minus 2x cubed cos 2x, all divided by sine squared 2x. And that is the answer to that question there. The next question here is the equation. Find the equation of the tangent to the curve at point x equal to what? Pi over 4. So we have generally we use y equal to y1 equal to x minus x1. This is the equation. This is the equation of tangent. And don't forget, if it is equation of normal, this is going to be minus 1 over m. Are you there? So now let's get started. The first thing here is, let us find the value of y1 here. This is talking about the coordinate of y at x equal to what? Pi over 4. So we'll quickly go to the question, which is y equals to x cubed over sine 2x. So that means wherever I see x, I'll put pi over 4. So now let's see. That means I have pi over 4 raised to power 3 divided by sine 2 pi over 4. Please, whenever you have pi in front, whenever you have sine pi is the same thing as sine 180 degrees. So for the fact that you have 2 pi over 4, it means 2 here 1, 2 here is 2, isn't it? We are dividing pi by 2. That means here it is 90 degrees. So here, everything here is 90. So sine 90 is what? 1. So if that is the case, I have pi cube over what? 64 here. I have pi cube of 64 here. And if that is the case, of course, as I've said earlier on, that is your y coordinate. That's a y coordinate. So, and of course, your x coordinate, you already have it already, x pi over 4. So when you talk about the full point now, the full point will now be pi over 4 comma pi cube over what? 64. But that's not where we're going. The next thing we need to find here is to find the value of what? Dy dx, which is m, where m equal dy dx at that point. Which point? Pi over 4. So now let's quickly solve this. That means if we are solving this same concept, wherever you see x, put pi over 4. So here we are going to have 3 pi over 4 raised to power 2 sine, I'll see this as 1. I believe you know why. You can remember what I did here is 1. So sorry, we just say let's say pi over 2. Let's say pi over 2 since we've written sine. So that will just be sine pi over 2 here minus, this is 2, x is what? Pi over 4 all raised to power 3. This is cos pi over 2. Now cos 90 is 0, isn't it? Sin 90 is what? 1. So that will now be divided by sine, I'm still going to write pi over 2 here. I've done the calculation here, talking about 2 pi cancelling each other, and this is squared. So therefore here you are going to have this is 0, isn't it? Everything here is 0. This is 1. So the answer to, this is also 1. The answer here will just be 3 pi raised to power 2 over 16 times 1. So therefore your dy dx will be equal to 3 pi squared over 16. Now, having said that, don't forget we're asked to calculate the equation, and this is the formula for the equation. So here we will be in need of our calculator here, just to make sure that things go on as planned. So now let's see if that is the case. So therefore y minus y1, what's the y1? Check. Y1 is what? Pi cube over 64 equal to dy dx, which is m. So here you have 3 pi squared over 16, and here you have bracket x minus x1. Tell me where your x1 is. Of course, is your pi over 4. So now let's see how this works. We have y minus pi over 3 divided by 64 equal to, you may want to open the bracket here, 3x pi squared over 16 minus, multiply this, 3 pi cube over what? 16. 16 times this should give you 256. So all you need to do there is to see how to use a calculator to make things very easy here. So first thing first, let me just make y the subject of formula here. What will it be? It's going to be y equal to pi raised to power 3 over what? 64 plus 3x pi squared over 16 and minus 3 pi cube over 256. So if you make use of your calculator here, and since there is no trigonometric ratio here, so that means this pi here will take its normal value, which is 3.142 or 22/7. So use your calculator to express this, and of course this will stand alone. You add this to this, you get to answer. And let's use our calculator and see what we are going to have. So if you do this very well, this is, first of all, you will get 1.85x minus 0.97 by using your calculator. So you may want to put the equation of the tangent to the curve at the given point. We all know the point is, what would that be? That would be y equal 1.85x minus 0.97. You may not want to write all this. Once you've gotten this, you move on. So now that will be all. The second question. Now question 4, you have 2 raised to power 3x minus 1 equals 6. Here you agree with me that this is not a question where you have the two base to have a common base. Since the two do not have a common base, it is good you use logarithm here. Just find the logarithm of both sides and you are good to go. So here we have, let's say, take the logarithm to base 10 of both sides. So what would that be? So you're going to have, this is going to be log 2 raised to power 3x minus 1 equal to log 6. And going by the law of logarithm, recall that when you have log a raised to power b is the same thing as b log a. Let's just say the base here is base c, so you have 6 here. So close the bracket. So if that is the case, I'm going to apply that here. I'm going to have 3x minus 1 in brackets. Here you have log 2 base 10. If you like, since it's in base 10, if you like you write, if you like you leave it that way. It's still the same. So we divide both sides. So here we have dividing both sides by log 2. So tell me what that will give. I'm going to have 3x minus 1 equal to log 6 over what? Log 2. And all you have to do here is punch your calculator, and if you do that very well, you will get 2.58. So yeah, let's try and make x the subject of formula. 3x will be equal to 1 plus 2.58, and of course that gives 3, isn't it? And if that is the case, we now have x, just divide both sides. You have 3.58 divided by 3, which implies that x will give you 1.19, and that will be the answer to that question. Now let's see the second question here, which is the second part of it. Yeah, check very well. Okay, so what we're going to do here is very simple. This is where I want you to focus your attention at. We have log 3 base y, and if you check here, y is serving as a base and y is serving as a power here. So one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that y remain as the power of this logarithm, that is log of this logarithm to base 3. So I'm going to do something here. Recall that if you have log a base b is equal to 1 over log b base a. So that means if I want to turn this into, maybe you want to exchange both the power and the base, all you have to do is find just say one of the, that means you are finding the reciprocal of the original log. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing here, which implies that if I have log 3 base y is the same thing as saying 1 divided by log y base 3. Are you there? Yes. So what we're going to be having here will now be then, which implies that log y plus 14 base what? Base 3 equal 1 plus. Now don't forget what we've said here. This is going to be 2, you understand, and that will be 2 divided by, I'm changing this to this, is going to be divided by 1 and divided by what? Log y base 3. So if you do that very well, you are going to have log y plus 14 base what? Base 3 equal 1 plus 2 log y base 3. So that's it. You understand? Changing division sign to what? Multiplication. Your numerator becomes denominator. Denominator becomes what? Numerator. So now I'm going to change this one to make this expression to have a common base, and of course that will be in base 3. So if I have 1 here, it is logical for me to also write log 3 base 3. Log 3 base 3 is the same thing as 1, and this is what you're going to have here. You're going to have log y plus 14 base 3 equal to log 3 base 3 plus, I'm going to write this expression as y raised to power 2 base 3, taking these 2 to the other side. And now it will be good for me to just apply the law of logarithm here, which is y plus 14 base 3, and that will be equal to what? Log 3 times y squared base 3. And from what I see here, from one indication, log base 3 can cancel each other from both sides. You're going to have y plus 14 equal 3y squared, and that which implies that you have 3y squared minus y minus 14 will be equal to 0. So going by the way of what? Factorization, 3 multiplied by minus 14 will give me 42. Yes, 42. So tell me, 2 factors, when I multiply them, I'll get 42. Add or subtract, I have minus y. Think. All right, that will be minus 7 and 6. So we have minus 7y plus 6y. I will get 42. And if I subtract, if I multiply them, I'll get 42. And if I add them, minus 7 plus 6y, I'll get minus y. So tell me, this is going to be 3y squared minus 7y plus 6y minus 14 equals 0, which implies that, factorize there, what is common there between these two terms is y, and here you have 3y minus 7, and here will be, what's common here? Check, that is 2. So you have plus 2, and here you have 3y minus 7, and that will be equal to 0. So in that case, I'm going to have y plus 2, and we're also going to have 3y minus 7 all equals to 0. So which implies that that means either y will be equals to minus 2, that means taking this to the other side, or here make y the subject of formula. After equating this to be 0, you will have y equal to 7 divided by 3. Yes, and talking about these two values, I want us to look at the question again. If you check the question, you see that y in one of the sites given, y was used as a base, and for the fact that it's a base, it can never be negative. So we are going to say, let me just put that simple statement there. Since y was used as a base of the log, its value cannot be negative. Its value cannot be negative. So y will be 7 divided by 3, and that is that. Question 5. Solve the simultaneous equations. So you have these exponential equations to be solved simultaneously. So let's see how it works. We have 8, 4, and 2 as the base. So the common base here will be 2. So in that case, my first equation here, which is this, well, we can put where 8p plus 1 over 4 raised to power q equal 2 raised to power 11 will be equal to, let's see, this is 2 raised to power 3 p plus 1 in bracket. Please, very important, make sure you put it in bracket, divided by 2 raised to power what? 2 raised to power 2q. That will be equal to 2 raised to power 11, and this simply implies that you have 2 raised to power 3 times p is 3p, 3 times 1 is 3, equal to, if you cross multiply here, you will have 2 raised to power 2q plus 11. That is applying the law of indices here, since they have the same base. So if that is the case, cancelling the base, we have 3p plus 3 equal 2q plus 11. So let's collect like terms here. You have 3p minus 2q, that will be equal to 11 minus 3, that is 8. I'm calling this equation 1. So also in this case, cube root of 27 is 3. That's why you have 27 raised to power 1 over 3. It simply means the cube root of 27 is 3. And I want to cross multiply here. I'm going to have 3 raised to power 2p plus 5 will be equal to 3 times 9 here will be 3 raised to power 2, and that will be multiplied by 3q. So if you do that very well, you should have 3 raised to power 2p plus 5 equal, apply the law of indices just as we did in our previous solution. Here you're going to have 1 plus 6. If you multiply 2 by 3, you have 6q. So you have 1 plus 6q, cancelling base. What will that be? You will have 2p plus 5 equal 1 plus 6q. And you may want to collect like terms here. And if you do, you're going to have 2p minus 6q, which will be equal to 1 minus 5 is minus 4. If you check very well, you see that it's like 2 is common here. So factorize 2, you have 2 here, you have p minus 3q, which will be equal to minus 4. And if you divide both sides by 2, you have p minus 3q equals to what? Minus 2. So if I'm solving for p here, p will be equal to 3q minus 2. I can call this equation what? Equation 2. So now that I've resolved it into equation 1 and 2, I can now say substitute equation 2 into where? Into 1, and that simply means you're going to have 3 brackets. This is 3p. P is already what? 3q minus 2, and that will be minus 2q here, and equal to 8. So let us expand this expression, and then let's see what we'll get. This will give you 9q. This is 9q minus 6 minus 2q equal to 8. So which simply implies that 9q minus 2q is 7q. If I take minus 6 to the other side, I will have plus 6 here. So 8 plus 6 is 14. So therefore, what will be my q? My q will be 14 divided by 7. That will be equal to 2. Now, I can now say substitute the value of q, which is equal to, into equation 2, so that we can get the value of p. So tell me, that will be p equal to 3 multiplied by 2 minus 2. That will be p equal to 6 minus 2, and that will give you 4. So therefore, our values, q is 2, p is 4. Now the next question.